Welcome back to Alpha Recap. Thanks for joining us after the close. We'll walk through what moved markets today and why it mattered. As always, if you have questions, you can reach us at stockalpha.ai.
Great to be here. Big day. Markets closed up across the board, led by technology. We'll break it down, explain the drivers, and flag what to watch next.
Let's hit the headline numbers first. The S&P finished the day up about 0.75%, the tech-heavy Nasdaq-100 jumped just over 2.5%, and the Russell 2000, our small-cap proxy, advanced about 2%. Those three reads frame the story, tech-led but with real small-cap participation.
Right, and that's important. This wasn't a narrow mega-cap pop. Tech and semiconductors led, but small caps and select cyclicals picked up steam too, which gave the move some breadth.
So, what really stands out here is the combination strong growth leadership together with genuine small cap buying. That's different from a pure narrow rally.
Totally. And one of the tactical lifts came from individual stock news. Marvell Technology jumped about 7% intraday after research and sector catalysts hit the tape. And that helped power the chip complex and the Nasdaq.
And then there were a couple of sector headlines that added fuel. We saw cannabis legal shifts, some communications and media roundups, plus select utility headlines. Think buybacks and project cash realizations that created pockets of demand outside pure tech.
Right. And the other thing is morning rebalancing and coverage chatter. Notes on VF showed it's up about 7% since its last earnings. There was debate around Primerica, and retail names like Urban Outfitters climbed about 3.5%. Those analyst flows reinforced a domestic cyclical bid.
I mean, when you step back and look at this, energy showed momentum as well. SunZia milestone supported some mid and small cap energy and industrial names. So the rally was broader than just semiconductors.
Exactly. So the net, risk-on positioning centered on tech and semiconductors, but real money buying in small caps and cyclicals prevented the move from being narrowly concentrated.
Let's unpack sector rotation and the standout performers. Technology and semiconductors were the clear leader. The Nasdaq-100's outperformance reflected megacap and chip strength, and Marvell was one of the largest single stock contributors for the session.
Consumer discretionary and retail had selective winners. Urban Outfitters finished the day up about 3.5%, and analyst flows into apparel names helped that group. So that was another constructive signal for cyclicals.
Small caps mattered too. The Russell 2000 ETF's nearly 2% gain was a sign that traders were willing to take on more domestically exposed risk, not just hide in megacap tech.
Utilities and energy weren't leading broadly, but there were pockets of strength. Buyback announcements and project cash realizations in utilities, plus energy project milestones like SunZia, which extended breadth beyond tech.
Materials and real estate showed some activity too. Not leaders, but they added to breadth through deal activity and build-outs mentioned in sector wraps.
One tidy way to summarize today. Not a rotation out of tech, but an expansion of the rally. Tech-led, but buying reached into small caps and selected cyclicals.
Let's explain a few of those terms for listeners. When we talk about breadth, we mean how many stocks are participating. If just a handful of megacaps go up while most names fall, breadth is poor. But when both the Nasdaq-100 and the Russell 2000 rose, breadth read healthier.
Momentum is another one. When a sector like tech outperforms, momentum traders and quant funds notice relative strength and pile in, which can amplify moves. That's part of why we saw tech ETFs draw flows today.
And rebalancing. That's just portfolios getting adjusted, whether because of index reweights, analyst coverage changes, or fund flows. Those mechanics can create big moves in single names, even if macro conditions haven't changed.
Speaking of macro, there weren't any surprise Fed moves today. Market behavior did, however, suggest traders were comfortable with the current rate outlook, at least for now. When growth-sensitive tech rallies, it often means the market is pricing in less near-term recession risk or feels the Fed path is fairly well understood.
Right, but that's conditional. Any surprise inflation print, employment shock, or hawkish Fed remarks could flip sentiment fast. So the rally was positive, but still sensitive to incoming macro data.
Analysts also noted that flows into tech ETFs and the small cap pickup could reflect momentum chasing and portfolio rebalancing, rather than a fundamental re-anchoring of rate expectations. In other words, it could be partly mechanical.
Let's run through some of the notable individual moves. Marvell Technology was the big chip story, up about 7%. VF was highlighted as being roughly 7% higher since its last earnings, and Urban Outfitters climbed about 3.5%.
Other names, like Primerica and Zurn Elkay, saw analyst-driven volatility. Debates and buy-seller-hold chatter move those stocks around. Energy names tied to Sunzia got a boost from the project milestone, and even consumer staples had headlines, like a provocative piece on PepsiCo that created idiosyncratic pressure in parts of staples.
That PepsiCo angle added some noise. Honestly, I was a bit surprised by how much single stock headlines can shift certain sectors on a given day.
Yeah, that tracks. Crypto-related equities saw mixed action too, but crypto flows weren't the dominant driver behind the broader equity gains.
Now for the technical backdrop. Breadth was positive, momentum favored tech and large caps, and volatility measures typically compressed on a broad-based rally. That compression tends to reinforce risk appetite until a macro surprise shows up.
Looking ahead, there are a handful of things to watch in the next session. First, the macro calendar and Fed speak. Any unexpected data or remarks can recalibrate positioning quickly.
Second, semiconductor internals. After today's Marvell-led move, traders will check chip equipment, memory, and networking names for spillover or profit-taking. A sustained move there would be constructive. A quick rollover would suggest we saw a momentum-driven day instead of durable rotation.
Third, small cap confirmation. The Russell's gain was constructive, but follow-through in the next session will be needed to confirm broader cyclical recovery. Watch small cap breadth and guidance from domestically oriented companies.
Fourth, liquidity and flows around sector headlines. Utilities buybacks, energy project confirmations, cannabis legal updates, those can generate targeted inflows. The question is whether those are one-offs or the start of more durable reallocations.
And fifth, traders will keep an eye on technical levels for the S&P and Nasdaq. Moving averages and previous resistance act as near-term checkpoints for momentum players.
Quick reactions.
Big move.
Not what anyone expected.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, a few practical takeaways. 1. Today's rally showed healthier breadth than a narrow mega-cap day because small caps also advanced. 2. Tech and semiconductors led, so momentum players will be watching chip internals closely. 3. The market is pricing in a sanguine near-term view on rates, but that view is fragile and data-dependent.
And remember the mechanics. Analyst coverage, rebalancing, and ETF flows can amplify moves regardless of fundamentals. That's why seeing follow-through matters. One strong day is encouraging, but confirmation matters for durable rotation.
So, to sum up, markets closed up, tech led the tape, small caps participated, and the rally's sustainability will hinge on upcoming data and Fed commentary. Traders should watch semiconductor internals, small cap breadth, and key macro prints.
If you want more color on any of the names or sectors we discussed, reach out. We'll dig into the details for people asking on the platform.
Final note, this episode was for informational purposes only. We didn't recommend buying or selling any specific securities. Analyst notes and coverage are market commentary, not personalized investment advice.
If you have questions about anything we covered today, head to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us directly and we'll answer live. For more market analysis and insights, visit stockalpha.ai.
Thanks for listening. Catch you next time on Alpha Recap.
See you soon.